This is the history of the New England colony, Virginia. The England of 1606 was a country eager to stake its claim in the New World. With the union of England and Scotland under King James I, England was feeling both confident and competitive, especially after Spain's successful colonization efforts in the Americas. Wealth pouring in from Spanish gold and silver was something England desperately wanted to match. In April of that year, the Virginia Company of London was chartered. Its mission was clear: claim land for England, search for gold, find a route to Asia, and spread Christianity. But more than anything, this was a for-profit venture. The area from New York to North Carolina was granted to the Virginia Company of London for this venture. Merchants, aristocrats, and investors like Sir Thomas Smith and Robert Rich eagerly put their money into the project, hoping for massive returns. By December, the company sent 3 ships: the Susan Constant, the Godspeed, and the Discovery, carrying 104 settlers under the leadership of Captain Christopher Newport. The orders were simple: build a fort, establish trade, and find resources to send back to England. On May 14, 1607, the settlers chose a site along the James River to build their fort. They named it Jamestown in honor of King James I. But problems arose immediately. The swampy, mosquito-infested land chosen for its defensibility proved to be a poor location. Water sources were brackish, and the settlers were unprepared for the challenges of farming. Captain John Smith quickly emerged as a crucial leader. His strict rules and focus on trade with the Powhatan Confederacy helped stabilize the colony. Smith famously wrote, "He who does not work shall not eat." Relations with the Powhatan were fragile. Chief Powhatan initially saw the English as potential allies, and Smith brokered peace agreements. But beneath the surface, both sides were wary, viewing each other as potential threats. In 1608, the Virginia Company sent reinforcements, including 120 new settlers and supplies. However, leadership conflicts within the colony created tension. John Smith took charge as president of the council, enforcing discipline and strengthening defenses. Meanwhile, the settlers' increasing demand for food put a strain on relations with the Powhatan. Smith embarked on expeditions to expand trade and explore the Chesapeake Bay, but these efforts met with mixed success. One of the most famous incidents of the year was Smith's capture by the Powhatan. Accounts vary, but Smith claimed that Pocahontas, Powhatan's daughter, saved him. Whether the story is true or not, it highlights the fragile and complex nature of the English Indigenous relations. The Virginia Company restructured its leadership in 1609, granting a new charter that expanded its territory and centralized control under Sir Thomas West, Lord de la Warr, as governor. That summer, a fleet of 9 ships carrying 500 settlers set sail for Jamestown. However, disaster struck. A hurricane scattered the fleet, and the flagship, the Sea Venture, wrecked off the coast of Bermuda. Among the passengers was Sir Thomas Gates, who would later play a significant role in the colony's survival. Back in Jamestown, the Powhatan withdrew their support, and the settlers were left confined to their fort, unable to hunt or farm. The winter of 1610 became known as the Starving Time. Of the 500 settlers, only 60 survived. An excerpt from A People's History of the United States by historian Howard Zinn states this about this period of time. When the summer came, the governor of the colony sent a messenger to ask Powhatan to return the runaways, whereupon Powhatan, according to the English account, replied with no other than proud and disdainful answers. Were therefore sent out to take revenge. They fell upon the Indian settlement, killed 15 or 16 Indians, burned the houses, cut down the corn growing around the village, took the queen of the tribe and her children into boats, then ended up throwing the children overboard, and shot out their brains in the water. The queen was later taken off and stabbed to death. John Smith, injured in a gunpowder explosion, returned to England, leaving the colony leaderless. One survivor's grim account describes eating dogs, cats, rats, and mice, even digging up corpses for food. In May 1610, the survivors of the Sea Venture arrived in Jamestown and found the colony on the brink of collapse. They prepared to abandon the settlement, but just as they were about to leave, Lord de la Warr arrived with reinforcements and supplies. De la Warr imposed strict military discipline, rebuilding the settlement and reasserting control over the Powhatan. His policies laid the groundwork for the colony's survival, but they also escalated tensions with the indigenous people. By 1612, John Rolfe introduced a strain of tobacco that thrived in Virginia's soil. Tobacco quickly became the colony's economic engine, creating a high demand for labor and land. At the same time, the Powhatan maintained a fragile peace with the settlers. In 1614, Pocahontas, Powhatan's daughter, was captured, converted to Christianity, and married John Rolfe. The marriage was celebrated as a symbol of peace between the two cultures, but it was short-lived. Pocahontas died in England in 1617. In 1618, the Virginia Company introduced the Great Charter, granting private land ownership and self-governance through the General Assembly. These reforms encouraged more settlers to come to Virginia, but intensified land disputes with the Powhatan. 1619 was a defining year in Virginia's history. The first representative government in English America, the House of Burgesses, convened in Jamestown, setting the foundation for colonial self-rule. That same year, the arrival of 20 and odd enslaved Africans, brought by an English privateer, marked the beginning of African labor in the colony, a moment that would shape America's future. In 1622, Opechecano, Powhatan's successor, launched a devastating attack on the English settlers, killing 347 men, women, and children. This massacre marked the beginning of the Second Anglo-Powhatan War. By 1624, the Virginia Company was in financial ruin. High death rates, lack of profits, and increasing criticism from the English crown led to King James I revoking the company's charter, making Virginia a royal colony. While the Virginia Company's vision had failed, its legacy, including the tobacco industry, the labor system, and its conflict with indigenous people, would shape the future of America. The history of the Virginia colony is a tale of ambition, violence, and unintended consequences. It serves as a foundation for understanding the early days of English colonization in North America, shaping the country's future while leaving a lasting impact on the indigenous people of the region. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Hope to see you next time.